Many of you guys are already aware of the new season that launched on Valorant and the new map that came with it, Breeze. And although my opinion doesn't really matter in this video, I will say that I'm pretty disappointed. This is yet another map that isn't really Cypher friendly, and by that I just mean that the map isn't really, it's very basic in my opinion. It's not really designed for crazy Cypher builds or Cypher setups. But with that being said, obviously as Cypher mains, we're going to find different and creative ways of setting up our stuff. So that's not really an issue, but I was really looking forward to a map that embraces the tiny little details that Cypher mains usually pay attention to. So yeah, this is my initial look at the map and the different setups that I found. I'm sure further down the line there will be better and more advanced setups, and I might possibly make a update video on that. And before we get into the setups, I just want to say, if you guys are new to the channel, you clicked on this video to look for Cypher setups, I would be very appreciative if you guys could check out my channel. And if you guys decide to subscribe, then thank you very much. But other than that, let's get into the setups. Alright, so first we're going to start on A site. And before anything, I'm going to show you guys my cam setups. So before we even get into the trap wires and all of that, we're going to get a good feel of where the cams could be set up. So the first one, we're going to want to get on top of this stairs. And we're going to have our cam out. You're going to want to stand at the edge of this, and you're going to want to jump. So once you get here, you jump and you aim at the air conditioner thing. I don't know, it looks like an air conditioner to me. But you could pretty much set it up anywhere on the air conditioner. And as you can see, you could clearly see pretty much all of mid to A. So if they're pushed up, you can see them, and you really can't see A main, but I'm gonna have a setup for that as well. But the good thing about this one is that at least if they peek through A main, they won't be able to get your cam, right? So you have to push up and you could clearly see them, so you could kind of choose to stay stealthy and not even shoot your dart at them. So you could just watch them the whole time. But yeah, that's one of the setups. The next one is very similar. You want to get on top of these stairs. You're going to want to stand on this edge, and you're going to want to jump. But you're going to have to aim a little bit to the side here, and you get this. I'm pretty sure you could improve this a little bit, maybe put it a little bit to the side, but you can see A main, and you could also see right outside the doors, the gates. So I guess that is a little better. I just think that the downside of that is that once they learn where it is, they could easily just shoot it down every time. So I would definitely switch it up. With a lot of things for Cypher, you want to switch up the setups. So the final cam that I found useful in this map is right here. So you got to keep in mind though that there's a barrier here. Sorry guys, I'm a little thirsty and I really can't speak right now, but there's a barrier here usually until the buy phase is over. So you're gonna want to wait until the buy phase finishes, and then you want to come here and quickly put this cam down. But it's right here. It's a pretty nice spot. You got to stay low key for that one though, so you know they don't shoot it down. But you can see them coming in, and if they decide to plant here, because usually your team is usually retaking right here, and one thing you can't see is the back, right, which they might usually hide there. So you get a clear look at there. So you could also play around with this one. You could I don't know, maybe try to hide it in the leaves, but it could get a little weird because the leaves are in the way and kind of counterproductive. But yeah, that's the other place that I found, which is a little, I'm assuming it's going to be less popular, but it's a nice place because sometimes you get desperate and you want to change up your spots. So that's not a bad place to put it, depending on your situation. Alright, now moving on for the traps for the site. Before we get into it though, I just want to give you guys a heads up that when in doubt, you can always just put the trap in front of the entrance and put a cage considerably ahead of it, and make sure that that you can see it a little bit, but when you get into the smoke that you can't see the actual trap wires. So what that does is, let's say, well, that was a little thing, so I'm just gonna get a little ahead. I think that's good. So let's say you're an enemy, you're walking into the trap wire, you get hit, you activate this, and you're looking all around to take the trap wire down, but you can't see it because the cage is actually covering it. So it's a really useful tip. To you know, you can always switch it up and do something like that. So moving on to the trap setups that I found for A site. For A main, it's a little funky, I must admit, but I think it does get the job. Oh God, I can't speak. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not having a good day, okay? I'm not having a good day. For the first one, you want to get your trap wires out. It does require 2, so keep that in mind. For the second piece of brick, here you can get the maximum distance for it, and you get on top of the second brick. It reaches up to here, and to close this distance you have to aim at this little crevice here, and you have to find this little bit. Okay, there we go. So the reason I think this should work most of the time, obviously you shouldn't spam any setups because good players will always catch on, but the reason for this is because when you're attacking, let's say you're here and you're attacking, enemies are usually focused on clearing sites and basically finding where the defenders are holding these angles, and because of this they're usually going to be pretty distracted, especially in A main or just any main entrance to a site. Let's say even if they do end up trying to jump over it, you will always be holding angles, right? So if you're holding an angle and they jump over it, you or your teammates are gonna have plenty of time to shoot them down. So they're kind of stuck in that situation. I don't think it's a bad setup. That is the only other trap wire location that you could find for A main, besides that one that I just told you guys about. But yeah, this is the only one. So to accompany those trap wires there, you're gonna want to put your cages, right? So this combination I found is really cool. I actually really like this one. This is why I feel like it works pretty well. What you want to do is come here between these two pyramids, stand in the corner, and aim at the corner, the corner that's closer to you. Aim at the edge of this little engraving. Yeah, it's an engraving. Aim right there. It's pretty forgiving. You could do this pretty easily. You could mess up a little bit and still get it on the right spot. But that's what you want to do. You get in this corner of that engraving, and you get the trap wires. So you could do this for all 4 sides. So if you come here, so what you could do here is play behind these pyramids. So let's say the enemy is coming in and you hear the trap wire go off. Just turn on the cages, shoot wherever they are. You could do that. You could also hold this angle right here. Let's say they set off the trap wire again. Turn on the cage wherever they are. Just inch towards it. Just make sure that, you know, there isn't an enemy there just watching you. That could be dangerous. But speaking of which, I do have a better location which I personally like a lot more. It's this corner. Like I say, you could do it for any corner of the pyramids. So if you throw it here, let's say you're hiding here, turn that on. A lot safer, and you don't have to worry about as many angles as the middle ones. So moving on from A main to mid, for this one you're going to want to be a little faster. It might take a little bit of practice, but it's honestly not that hard. You could there's a barrier here, so I'm pretty sure it's like right here, and what you want to do is wait until the barrier goes down and aim right here, put the trap wire at the bottom, and then come quickly, find this little, I guess the way I remember it is it looks like a snake, these pebbles right here, and then find these 2 pebbles, find the lower one, put your cage right there. So this does the same thing as the A main one does. The other one that I found that I think is pretty cool because it kind of works with these cages as well. You're gonna want to come and put your trap wire here and put a cage right here in this little crevice. And obviously you could do it for this one as well, but there really isn't any point in doing that because there just really isn't an angle. I mean, maybe if you're holding this angle, I don't really know, but this cage is going to be vital. So you could use this with this cage as well. I think it would help. So what you want to do is, let's say you're hiding here, right? and they set off this trapwire here. What you could do is set this off as well. Now you could easily peek without worrying about this angle and easily shoot them. So maybe instead of putting a cage here, you could put a cage there instead. And so what that could do is, in case they're hugging this corner, let's say they're hugging this wall, you could set this one off, or you could set off both, so you're definitely safe from that angle. But it all depends on preference. It all depends on you reading the enemy and seeing what they do, and you could pretty much predict what they do. So all of the camera setups that I found for B-site are pretty good, so you could use any of them that you want. But the first one, you need this little pillar or this little wall. Get on top of it and get a little closer so you could put the camera right there. So with this angle, you could pretty much see anything. You could see anyone that comes from this corner. You could see B main, and you could also see the tunnel. Overall, it's a pretty good camera setup. So for the next setup, it's pretty similar to the first one that I showed you guys. So you still need this wall. You want to jump on top of it, but instead you want to aim towards this corner right here. So you want to jump and... Okay, let me try that one more time. Sorry. You want to jump. You want to get close and jump at the same time, right? So let me do that one more time so you guys can see. So you want to get close, shoot the camera. So I think this angle is a little better than the first one, just because you can still see the angles that you could see from the first one. You could see this corner, you could see the tunnel, most of the tunnel, and you could see B main. It's just you have free range to move around this time. You're not kind of stuck. And also you could just switch it up. So let's say the enemies know that you always put your cam there, so you could just put it there. Get the same benefits, but it's in a different location. So for this next camera location, you need this tunnel. So you want to get into the tunnel and get on top of these bricks. It's good to mention that there is a barrier here, so you have to wait until the buy phase is over to get inside here. You have to do it pretty quickly, just to make sure that you don't get caught slacking or something. So you want to come here, get on top of here, and this might take a little bit of practice. So jump on top. You could go a little higher, so let me try that one more time, just so we can see how high it goes. So you could get it right there. It's pretty good. You can see the angles that you couldn't see with the other cam location, but obviously there are some downsides. You can't see that corner, you can't see here, and you can't see inside this tunnel. You could just see this angle, but I think there is a little bit of a benefit here based off of the setups that I'm going to show you guys. So for B main, I did find a setup that's a little similar to the popular one way for Ascent on A site, but it's a little less effective, and you'll see why. But I'm going to show you guys how to get it first. So first you need the trap bar, obviously, and you could always, as I mentioned, put the cage down there. I'm not going to do that just because it's self-explanatory, but you want to get to the third step of this stair. Move towards the wall. Once you get against the wall, you want to move your crosshair to the position where you can see these leaves. You want to look at this leaf in particular. Move your crosshair to it, and then throw down your cage. So similarly, you could do that for the other side of the entrance as well. All you have to do is get in front of the wall, press the W key until you get stuck in this little corner. Move your crosshair up, move a little bit to your left. Maybe I moved a little bit too much. So now you have cages on both sides of the entrance, but I will show you guys why this isn't as effective as the one way on Ascent. So let's say you're holding this angle and they set off the trap wire. You just turn this on, shoot them. But the problem with this is that they could clearly see you. So let's say they're standing right here. You're standing right here. This is where I was standing. They could clearly see you just standing far away. I do have a little bit of a solution for this though. It's not foolproof, but it does seem to work. So let's say you activate the cage while you're standing on top of this wall, right? You could shoot them just as effectively, and for their point of view, this is what they see. So this is the wall you're standing on. They have to get close and they have to crouch, and they see most of your lower body. So yeah, it's not foolproof, but it can catch them off guard if they're not expecting you to be there. You could definitely get a few kills off of that, and maybe move on. They might not even think about looking there. So the last area that we're going to cover is this tunnel here that connects from mid to B. There are a few options that you have holding this angle. That's why I like this tunnel area more than other spots, just because it does feel good to hold this area. So let me show you guys the trapwire locations first. So the first one you could do is right here between these two a pile of bricks. You could do this, but it's pretty basic and I wouldn't recommend it just because they can still jump on top of this. So what I would do instead is put it right here. So now if they come through here, they'll go. So now if they come through here, they'll get caught. If they jump through here, they'll get caught as well. So I think that's definitely a better option. This is a pretty good cage. If you guys want to see what it looks like, this is what it looks like. You can see the bottom of their feet. So let's say you're holding this angle and you activate that cage. You can see the bottom of their feet. If they activate the trapwire and they're standing there, you can shoot them as well. You can do pretty much anything there and they won't be able to see you. So this next cage location requires you to hold a different angle just for it to be effective. So what you want to do is come here. We're going to put it somewhere around here. So now what you want to do is stand in front of this wall that's not really connected to this other piece of wall. And then you want to walk towards it until you're directly right in front of it. And then you want to line up that little line that connects the cage to the trapwire. And you want to line it up with the wall, that little corner that connects the wall to the floor. Like so. And then what you want to do is shift walk backwards very slowly until you see the fourth column of these little tiles right here. And then you want to line up the tile with the line. Now what you want to do is look at these two bricks and then visualize that line that connects them together. Slowly go down that line, and once you get close to the corner, you want to move a little towards the dark gray tiles. Once you get your crosshair somewhere around here, you press Q, or oops, a little right here. There we go. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. I'm sure once you do this a few times, it just turns into second nature and you don't even need to think about it. So what you could do now is either keep that old tripwire that I showed you guys, or you could make this new one right here. Right here. So what you could do now is hold this angle. So let's say you're holding this angle, you know, doing your thing, and then this trapwire either goes off or you hear something. You could put this cage here so you don't have to worry about that, and activate this cage and then just shoot them right here. Now the one downside to this specific trapwire would be that you won't be able to know if someone's jumping up here. But if you do choose this trapwire, then you just have to deal with the fact that there could be someone just jumping up here, and you have to be ready for that. And that's why I feel like the best trapwire in general is just going to be right here. And let's say you're holding this angle and you see the trapwire go off, cage there, and then you can shoot them wherever they are. I think these are pretty effective, and I'm pretty convinced that these are the best setups in the map right now.